Hey everyone, it's me Canadensis, and today we're going to be talking about what really happened to Monster High. I haven't really been feeling up for being on camera for the past few days, so I apologize that this is a departure from my usual content. I hope that you're okay with it. Please leave me your feedback and let me know what you think in the comments. Today's topic is one that gets me heated for all of the wrong reasons, and it is what killed Monster High. There is a lot of misinformation around this and a lot of speculation that is presented as fact, so I kind of wanted to set the record straight with the official information that is publicly available online. For some background, Monster High debuted in 2010 and was instantly a smash hit, selling out and becoming a must-have toy for kids and collectors alike. The original Monster High dolls were something never seen before, and the designers really created something truly special. Monster High was a smash hit in a way that very few other toy lines could dream of being from the get-go. The only one I can think of off the top of my head would be Bratz for dolls, and for action figures I would say Masters of the Universe. But less than 10 years into the line, it died. Why did that happen? Through analysis of Mattel's public annual reports, I will attempt to answer this question. A common answer is that it was the fault of the reboot, a change in face paint and sculpts implemented late into the brand's life. Fans claim that the reboot happened because Karen, a mythical beast responsible for the antithesis to progressive thinking and fun, hurt Mattel too much. I shouldn't have to explain to you why that is a ridiculous and unfounded claim. Monster High soared and flourished despite the naysayers. Controversy is mostly positive for companies, especially with alternative brands. Bratz had the same idea, and it was a huge driver of sales and talk around the brand. Let's get to a rundown of each year of what Mattel officially told us about Monster High. Please note that the source for these claims must legally be 100% accurate and have not been contested by any shareholders or any legal departments. Thus, they are as close to the truth as we can get. This is an extremely important series of documents that Mattel is legally required to produce yearly in order to inform their shareholders about the state of the company and the brands within. So, let's get into it. In 2010, Mattel has just debuted Monster High and instantly had big plans and great optimism for the line. They specifically noted that they wanted to introduce new books, characters, events, and associated content, and Mattel proudly notes that Monster High, along with Disney Princess, were huge drivers in increased gross sales of non-Barbie dolls by almost 20% domestically and 10% internationally. And this was very specifically extremely positive for them, especially for a brand new launch of a toy brand. They note is extremely impressive as well because internationally there was a shift in exchange rates that were extremely unfavorable and actually hurt them a lot. But Monster High's great success actually counteracted that and got them to rise by 8% internationally, their sales to rise. In 2011, the introduction to the report primarily features Monster High and states that momentum was maintained despite challenges presented during the year. The new CEO specifically states that Monster High's success was very exciting and that it was performing beyond their wildest projections once again. They emphasize that in the future, in 2012, they will release even more media and characters for Monster High, and a main goal was to accelerate the growth of Monster High even further, and this is actually mentioned multiple times in the specific report. Monster High, again, was directly responsible for very favorable sales numbers. And again, in the 2012 report, Monster High is featured front and center. The author boasts that Monster High is the #2 doll property worldwide, with Barbie being #1, and the brand this year in 2012 became a $1 billion brand, which is crazy considering Monster High had been around for 2 years at this point, less than 2 years. Once again, the plans for Monster High are the same. Media emphasis, this time 3 movies as opposed to 1 or 2 are mentioned, and more new characters. It's starting to get repetitive. Once again, the goal was to accelerate growth further, as Monster High once again heavily drove and increased sales domestically and internationally, and was, again, performing much better than they ever imagined that it would. In the 2013 report, things seem to have gone slightly awry for Monster High, but not too bad. It is not boasted about at all and is first mentioned on page 11 of the document. This is especially jarring, seeing as it was featured every single year until this one. In the section on plans for 2014, Mattel states that Monster High will continue to expand and again boasts 2 movies in the works and a spin-off series, Ever After High. Ever After High was not really mentioned in a positive light, except to mention that it has creative storylines and a reasonable launch. I found all of this strange in the profit rundown section. I found all of this strange as, in the profit rundown section, Monster High is still mentioned to have positive sales numbers, and Ever After High is stated to have had a reasonably successful launch that did contribute to an increase in gross sales. The gross sales number increases are lower than before, so I think that's why the air of optimism is lesser. In 2014, there was a notable departure from the positivity of the past 4 reports. Monster High specifically is not mentioned in the letter at the beginning, though the doll category is specifically mentioned as one that really needs work and innovation. Once again, though, the same thing for Monster High is said. They'll have more media and more characters, and they'll start introducing spin-offs, specifically the Frightfully Tall and the vinyl figures are mentioned. And I think the Mega Blocks are introduced in this one as well. Are they Mega Constructs? What are they called? Monster High is still regarded positively, though, just not to the same degree. 2015's report has Monster High mentioned in the introduction letter and is described as a major challenge for Mattel due to further softening sales. This report officially announces the reboot as well in order to revitalize the brand for the next generation. Mattel states that they are extremely committed to supporting Monster High in a new way since the old way lost momentum so sharply. Monster High was stated multiple times as being directly responsible for deep decreases in sales. So 2015 was clearly the year that Mattel really had to make a change, but you can see signatures of this in 2013 and 2014. 2016 once again leaves Monster High out of any positive talk and is mentioned as a major source of hurt for Mattel again, being directly responsible for a nearly 20% loss in gross sales across multiple categories. There are no plans stated anywhere for Monster High in this entire report. 2017 actually doesn't mention Monster High as anything but a franchise that they own until page 34, where it is once again blamed for very poor performance in sales. There are no plans for Monster High stated again. And in 2018, Monster High is mentioned as a reason for poor sales once again. And that's everything that the official reports for Mattel can tell us about Monster High. So what actually happened? Why was Monster High rebooted and then canceled with very little fanfare? I think it's very clear to see from just reading the reports and from anecdotal evidence that any Monster High fan would have been fully aware of at the time of all of this going down. Mattel never stated much for the brand after they found a formula. Release a movie, release new characters, repeat. This was exciting and new for a while, but Mattel seems to have flown too close to the sun, and when their strategy didn't work, they had no novel ideas or plans to fall back on. The reboot was their saving grace, and it was very optimistically mentioned as what would save Monster High. I think that the reboot was misguided, and although I think many of the dolls are wonderful, much of the reboot's media and many of the dolls felt like shells of the characters that drew so many people to Monster High. Mattel got too greedy and too pushy. Do you remember when you first saw a clearance aisle completely full of Monster High dolls? For me, it was in around 2014, and I feel like in 2014, much more dolls than usual had been released, and this continued to increase each year. In 2020, a line of collector dolls was released in a very sloppy and frustrating way, and it made fans very hopeful for a revival of Monster High in its original form. Though there was much negativity around the new collector dolls, especially regarding their price point and the difficulty in acquiring them, the overall reception was one of excitement and optimism. Although the original creator of Monster High has moved on to a new company, and I hope he's doing amazing there and really enjoying it, and it is likely that many others from the original team will not return to Monster High. That's just the reality of things. The collector dolls were a love letter to the Monster High fans and were created by Rebecca Steam herself from the original Monster High team. What do you think? Are you hopeful for the future of Monster High, or do you think they should just stay in the vault forever? I would love to hear your thoughts. I hope that other doll companies have paid attention and done their research, as this story unfortunately is not unique to Monster High. I think it is easy to get overly excited and optimistic about a positive growth, but clearly this growth is not exponential forever and will reach a carrying capacity and sharply decline. Thank you guys so much for watching. For real this time. Bye!